Hey everyone, SuperShadix Boom here. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Rouge the Bat from Wave 8 of Jakks Pacific Sonic the Hedgehog 4-inch line, as well as Sonic with Skateboard from the Jakks Golden line. Taking a look at Sonic with Skateboard first, I gotta commend Jakks for the collector-friendly packaging. We got cool photos of the figure and Sonic the Hedgehog logos all throughout the box. I love how easy it is to just open the top, slide the figure out, and struggle to get him out of the plastic bubble and discard everything. The painting sculpting on Sonic with Skateboard is gnarly. The intent here is to achieve a comic-esque cel-shaded look. Not really sure why Jakks is interested in this particular style, but it's cool I guess. Don't really care for comics, I'm just an all-around disliker of reading. Anyway, the sculpt here is similar to the original classic Sonic 4-inch figure, and by similar I mean identical. It's the same figure. Same weird neck tailed and ankle knees, just with some fresh new paint apps. $5 worth of paint apparently. To an extent it does look pretty cool. The colors are nice and the paint quality is top notch. Something about how it looks on his head is just mesmerizing. Decent shading all throughout. Their intended light source is hitting from the right, so that side is the more brighter and vibrant colors, with the left side being darker. Well, it should be that way, but then we got shit like this. They could have just left this arm alone. Less paint, less work. Ugh, come on guys. The QC issues on this head also ruins the illusion. His eyes are also really recessed into his head. You can tell by the gap here. Oh, wait a second. That's paint, dude. Whoa, that's actually really cool. They just outlined his brow, which helps refine his mono eye and socket. Some of the line work is sick. I love this stuff. But some of it's also super half-assed and makes no sense. The whole point of these lines are to outline stuff, adding some depth, and have certain features pop. I don't remember Sonic having grooves on top of his hand. There's a random line on his shoe. Unless that's supposed to be a crease on them, then damn, Sonic's shoes are ruined now. A lot of these outlines just stopped for some reason, like on the belt buckles. What the heck? Why are the lines only on the front? Maybe the light is supposed to be coming from the back because the ears also have a blank spot coming from the same direction. Guess that logic also applies to his hands and cuffs, huh? It makes zero sense to me how these features are only halfway defined. The effect works on a drawing since there's a foreground and background that needs to be conveyed, but this is a 3D object in real life, bro. Complete outlines make things pop out all the way and benefits the cel-shaded look. I'm normally not this nitpicky, I swear. It's just when the main attraction about this piece is the fancy new paint job and it costing more than a regular release, I'm gonna fucking talk about the paint, you know? The lines that are applied are pretty clean, way better than anything I can do, and hey, they improve the mouth at least. By putting a single black line to separate the top and bottom rows of teeth, now our boy just has a simple little grin. Nitpicks aside, the figure is not completely terrible. The shading isn't too bad from afar and it's well put together. Here he is with some other cel-shaded figures I got. Definitely a bit more fancy than Legends, but nowhere near as insane as NECA. This metalhead is wild. It's like there's an actual cartoon directly in front of my face. Jeez, this is incredible. Mid-figure out of the way, let's look at this dope-ass skateboard. I'm like 90% sure this was inspired by Gens. It's pretty much all just molded plastic, but the colors are nice, and of course there's some pegs sculpted on to attach some figures. The underside of the deck has some nice paint, still basic, but it gets the job done, just a line across the board. The brackets for the wheels break up the paint, but it all culminates together for a nice cohesive look, and that Sonic text was applied excellently. It also rolls really well, which is pretty important for a skateboard to do. I'm not a pro fingerboarder, but if you're good at that stuff, I'm sure you can get some use out of it. You can also use other figures from both 2.5-inch and 4-inch lines. It just uses the standard pegs we're all used to by now. Taking a look at Rouge the Bat, she is a gem of a figure. The painting sculpting on Rouge here is brilliant. The details on her outfit were captured pretty well. I really like her big ass bat ears. They're so cool and massive, they just attract the eyes and stand out on a shelf. Yes, I'm still talking about her ears. Unfortunately, she has an excessive amount of unwanted paint on her head. There's a super bad and noticeable paint splotch on the side. It's really distracting. Other QC issues on mine are just the usual paint chips and nub marks. She does have a cool hairdo. I'm a fan of the flip. Rouge's face looks real nice. She seems very unamused. I especially dig the eyeliner. Love that shade of blue. Thank goodness her eyelashes are there for some separation since her pupils are the exact same color, which I believe is inaccurate. In SA2 and some other instances, Rogue has green eyes. As for current Rouge, which is mostly what this figure is based off of, her eyes are more of a turquoise color than a flat out light blue. Not a deal breaker for me. I wasn't really planning on having any staring contests with her anytime soon. I just felt like pointing it out. Jakks also sculpted and painted Rouge's bat titties. I was kind of flabbergasted upon seeing these. Major kudos to Jakks for keeping them instead of censoring them. Little Timmy's Rouge's mom is probably furious about this design, even though it's not really that accentuated. They're kind of just there, you know? The biggest oddity in the sculpt definitely has to be the cuts that break up the gloves and boots in order to have wrist and ankle articulation. They're super noticeable and break up the clean aesthetic these parts of her design have, but I don't really see any other way they could have implemented these points of articulation without these cuts. Her boots are still pretty nice. Clean paint apps on the heart toes, these two giant paint swirls on the back are whack, but most importantly, she stands really well. Even though she's wearing high heels, that's pretty incredible. Taking a look at the wings, which is an important feature for this character as she is in fact a bat. They're just thin molded pieces of plastic with little indicators on the inside of them for right and left, utilizing the same engineering as Buzz Bomber. Sadly, they are not interchangeable since Buzz Bomber's wings are a tad too big and vice versa. What a shame, since Rouge's wings look pretty cool on Buzz Bomber. Still can't fix that ugly face though. Without the wings, Rouge has weird looking grooves and appendages on her back. Buzz Bomber has them too, but it just looks way grosser on a flesh tone. Let's go ahead and just put these back on. Articulation time. The head can swivel. Her hair does tend to collide with the wings, but there's at least a little bit of clearance, so a simple solution is to just push them all the way back, then move the head where you want it to go and reposition the wings. Rogue's wings hinge back and forth. The tail is a bit long, so it does end up clashing at the tip. Shoulders hinge up and down, forwards and backwards. She can hit a pretty good T-pose. There's an elbow joint at the cuff of her glove, so her elbow can bend up and down as well as swivel. The wrists only swivel, which is pretty lame, not gonna lie. Her crotch is sculpted in a unique shape, so the joints plug in at odd angles. Her hips have the same movement as the shoulders. For some reason, her knees bend really far up in comparison to how far back they go. I'm noticing that there's an excess amount of boot cuff at the back of her knees, so maybe if I rotate that, it'll get more range going backwards. Nope, it's still the same. That's weird. Lastly, we've got the ankles. All they do is swivel. For Rouge's accessory, she comes with her bomb from the hit 2006 multi-platform game Sonic the Hedgehog. Does anyone remember Sonic 06? Because Jakks does, which is pretty based. Massive W for the character-specific accessory. Jakks should really do this more often, please. The heart bomb, bat bomb, whatever it's called, I never actually played 06. It's painted and sculpted pretty well. You'd think this is essentially just a giant painted sphere, but a lot of the details is sculpted on, such as the hearts, the little black circles, and all these lines. Love the colors. Most of it's just white and pink, but the black and especially the cyan strip adds some nice diversity and stands out. It's still practically a giant marble. Rogue doesn't really have any way of gripping the ball since there's not a peg or peg hole. She can hold it, but it's a bit of a balancing act. Looks pretty cool in her hands as long as it stays in place. So that was Sonic with Skateboard and Rouge the Bat by Jakks Pacific. Sonic with Skateboard is kinda meh. The OG 4-inch classic Sonic was a pretty mid-release, so a new coat of paint wasn't really gonna do much. The paint job is nice for what it is, but the inconsistencies and lack of polish isn't really worth it for anyone that really cares about the deco. You're better off just getting a normal 4-inch classic Sonic or that new 2.5-inch classic Sonic. The skateboard is pretty sick and versatile. It'd be cool if they repurpose it for future releases, but they probably want to keep these things exclusive to make the overall package feel valuable or whatever. As for Rogue, she's cool. Obviously a welcome addition to the cast, it's about damn time. Aside from her looks, she's okay. She's not the most fun to handle. Yes, I actually play with my toys. The wings pop off a lot when I mess with her, better than outright snapping off, but a little more tightness would have helped. Her legs are so weird and lame. No ball joints in the ankles or anywhere actually, and goofy ass knees just equate to a not so fun time. She does manage to balance well somehow, which is a plus. I'm really just happy to complete Team Dark. They look so awesome together. Both these figures are kinda mediocre. The best of two is Rouge, of course, since she's a completely new mold, a great display piece, and a much needed character for the collection. Just not the best for any posing fanatics. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and what are your thoughts on these figures? I'd love to know. Bye, thanks for watching.